Right. What's going on, everyone? We need to talk about what players we are keeping, what players we are selling, which players to be loaned out, and the contract exit for Chelsea. Now, we have a whopping squad. I trimmed it down to about 32 players because a lot of the other players that are on this list are already going to be loaned back out. It does not matter, or they're on the youth squad itself. But that being said, let's go into this and start talking about all our players for next season. Now, this is assuming that Pochettino will be our manager. If someone else comes in, this obviously would be all changing. But with Pochettino in mind, that's how we're going to play this role. Now, in the news, Kepa has been on the sell mark for the most part because from what we've been told with Pochettino, he needs a new goalkeeper. Now, Kepa itself obviously came in for a lot of money. Didn't really get everything that we wanted to from this player, but has done quite well at Chelsea. And I think we will get some good cash back for this player. But again, it would have been better if we had gotten some more from this player. But still, that being said, we'll still deal with it. Now, Bettinelli, I think we will keep him as a backup keeper or backup to the backup because, again, we really haven't seen much of him at Chelsea. And again, it makes sense that we're going to have a few backup goalkeepers. And again, haven't seen much, so we really can't say much about him. Now, Edward Mendy, also going to be selling because, like I said, Pochettino looks like he wants to bring in the number one goalkeeper. If that is the case, like I said, both these guys are not going to want to be backup goalkeepers. And again, I think we can get some good money for both these. Now, both are Champions League winners, even though Mendy was the starting goalkeeper. So again, we might be able to get a little bit for him as well, which again can go forward to getting that new goalkeeper itself. And then Solani, I'm going to say he's going to be loaned out. I think that is going to be the best case. If not, I think keep because, again, if we're going to have three goalkeepers, possibly that would make the most sense because you never know what could happen. If both of these guys get injured, we will need a backup. So I'll go loan, but I'm going to say keep as well. So we'll keep at the keep for right now. Now let's get into the meat, the bones, and everything of the players that actually we want to talk about. Now, a lot of these players, it's going to make a lot of sense. Battershield, I don't have to say much about him. He's going to be the future of Chelsea. He's been playing very, very well. I think we've only lost 2 matches when he started for Chelsea this season. So again, keep starting this guy if we want to get more results. Again, this guy has a massive, massive ceiling, and I think him and Fofana can definitely do a lot for this club if they can both stay healthy. Now, Thiago Silva, this is interesting because he did have another contract left or another year left on his contract, but just recently said it looks like he may be exiting Chelsea by the end of this year. And I think that has to do with probably what we're going to be doing moving forward with this club. Obviously, being 39 years old going to next season, there's really not too much potential left for Thiago Silva. Great player, has done phenomenally well at Chelsea. So again, taking nothing away from this player. But if Pochettino is looking to go into a new direction, it does make sense that maybe we cut our ties with Thiago Silva, even though we could really utilize him next season, not just on the field, but in the locker room as well. But still, it makes sense. I think, again, we may get like 5 to 10 million for this player with his age. That's the only reason why. If he was younger, we obviously get more. But again, for what we got for Thiago Silva, massive bargain. No doubt about that. So moving on, Chalba, I think we will keep as well. Now, Chalba is one of those players that can be very unique for Pochettino because not only can he play in the defensive role, he can also play in midfield as well. So kind of like what Eric Dyer did at Tottenham, maybe Chalba could do the exact same thing for Pochettino as well. That is an option. Again, I think he's a solid player. A lot of people do give him a lot of hate, but he can slot into multiple positions. Fairly young yet. Again, I'd hate to sell him or lose him so he can go on to another club and start doing very, very well. Now, Chilwell, again, don't say much about him. We're going to keep him, one of the best left backs in the world. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That is his one downfall, but if he is fully fit, he starts every single weekend for us. Same with Reece James. Don't say much again him. Had his surgery. Is still the future for Chelsea. Hopefully this surgery does help him stay healthy for a full season because his hamstrings, again, have not been doing well for him for such a young age. But again, same thing with Chalba. He could possibly move into that defensive midfield role as well. Again, Pochettino is going to look at all these players and kind of consider that, but still, we're obviously keeping him. Now, Koulibaly, this one, I'm going to say we keep as well. Now, same thing. He had a very poor season, but again, everyone on this squad had a poor season. It doesn't matter who you are. This entire squad, no one had a good season, minus maybe Thiago Silva and Kepa. So again, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. New season, new manager. I think we're going to get a lot more of KK right there then. As for Queta, has done his time at Chelsea, but I think this is his last season as well. We will be selling this player now, whether that's to some Spanish team. I know he was linked to Barcelona last year. We did a release clause and we got one more year after it, but still, again, I think it's time that Aspilicueta has served his time at Chelsea. Same thing, has won pretty much, I believe, everything he possibly could at Chelsea. Maybe I'm forgetting one thing, but I believe he's won everything at Chelsea. Again, build a statue for this guy. Is going to be a club legend. Nothing about that. Again, this guy has been through and through a Chelsea Blue. So again, will be hard to not see him as a Chelsea player, but time has come to sell this guy. Now, Cucurella, this we have to keep this guy. Even though if we could try to sell him, I don't think we'd get the money that we wanted to. And same thing I was saying about Koulibaly here. I think both these guys had a pretty bad season for the most part. And again, it could have been better for both these guys, but it just is what it is. But overall, I think we can get a lot more of this player. Obviously, he'll be back up to Chilwell. And again, Chilwell does pick an injury. We have to play Cucurella as well. Now, Fofana, like I mentioned earlier with Shield, these two guys are definitely going to pair up quite well. Again, this makes the most sense future-wise. The only problem with Wesley Fofana is injuries as well. We have quite a few players that do have a few injuries here. And again, I'm thinking that possibly if he can stay fully fit, these two guys could be the future of Chelsea and also be the best CBs in the league itself because they're both very, very quick. Both really good with their feet, and again, can control the entire match. And again, depending on who's in between the sticks for these guys, they could have a lot of clean sheets between the three of them. Now, Enzo Fernandez, don't have to say much about this guy either. Obviously, keeping him. So again, nothing really says about them. He's the future for Chelsea. He needs a defensive midfielder, though. That is the big takeaway from Enzo Fernandez because, yes, he can roll all over the pitch and do quite well, but still, he needs someone to pair with him so that way there's not this gaping hole in our midfield. Conte is going to be one of those players that is going to help him. Again, this is one of those things that Conte looks like he's going to be renewing his contract. And since he's been fully fit from the injuries he's been dealing with for this entire season, he seems to be doing quite well. And he's been doing more attacking, which again, I'm not going to say he's our only defensive midfielder we have that can go with Enzo because, like I said, him moving more forward, we're going to need a player that can actually sit back for us and absorb a lot of those attacking blows coming down the middle. Now, Kovacic, we'll be selling him. Now, whether that's to Bayern Munich, Manchester City, this is his last season as a Chelsea Blue as well. Again, served his time. He's done quite well coming from Real Madrid, but the time has come that we need to sell this player. Probably get around $40 million for him, which again is a pretty good price tag for what we've gotten out of Kovacic. Again, hate to see him leave, but again, it's time to move on. Now, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, rumor has it that he's also going to be sold this year. Again, it's a shame because he was a talented player and still is a talented player, but that Achilles injury he picked up quite a few seasons ago really hindered his progression, and he's never really been fully the same player since then. Very good on his feet, but again, just hasn't been what we needed for as a Chelsea player. And again, he's a good player, but not a top elite midfielder, which again, if we sell him, we should get some good money for him. Now, Mason Mount, he's probably in the sell market as of right now, but I think we should keep him. I mean, let's be real here. It's Mason Mount. He's had one bad season at Chelsea. If he can return back to what we had to the prior seasons, he's going to be one of the best players for Chelsea, future coming wise as well, and could be a captain at this club. But like I said, there's been a lot of turmoil with him and this club, and there's really a whole ups and downs of what's going to happen with the future at Chelsea. So again, I can see him being sold. If we do sell him, we're obviously going to get quite a bit for him, but I'd hate to see him go to Liverpool or any other Premier League club and then see him score against us because as we know that happens all the time for ex-Chelsea players. I'd hate to see Mason Mount be one of those players for us because, again, I think he has a bright future at Chelsea. Now, Zakaria, I believe he's going to be on a contract exit. So, again, I'm just going to put him here right now. I don't believe we'll loan him back out. Really didn't get much time at Chelsea. And, again, can't fault him for it. All these other guys that we had at this club really weren't going to see much time frame for him. He was going to be more depth. And he's done okay. But, again, we didn't really get much from him. Now, next is going to be Conor Gallagher, which this might be shocking that I'm going to put him in the keep. But this guy, if he can hone in what he needs to do, could be one of the best players under Pochettino because this guy is an energizer bunny. Runs all over the pitch. The only problem is he doesn't know how to stay focused and know where he should be at some points, which again does leave massive gaps in our midfield. But if he does understand his role, he does quite well. And he's scored some of our good goals this season. And again, he can offer scoring, dribbling, defending, crossing. He can do pretty much everything that we want in a midfielder. And again, he could be a very good pairing if we do maybe 3 in the midfield or again, depending on where we want to slot him. But he's going to be a good depth player as well. Now, Chukwuemeka, I'm going to say we're going to keep him as well because I think, again, we need some depth. And again, being a young player, we haven't seen his full potential. Probably get one more season. And if that doesn't work, then I would say we're going to maybe sell him or maybe loan him. But I think as of right now, we will keep him on the squad for next season, which again, I know the squad's getting a little heavy already, even though we've only done defenders and midfielders, and we still have a lot to go. But overall, I think he's going to be a good player for us. Now, Aubameyang, don't have to say anything. He's being sold. That's all I'm going to say about this player. It has not worked out at all. And again, it's just one of those things that I wish it would have, but what a weird scenario for him. Came in for Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel gets sacked 48 hours later. And again, after that, nothing really was clicking for him. Christian Pulisic, selling. I've had enough with this player. Again, being American, I was hoping that he would do quite well for us at this club, but let's be real here. We're not getting the player that we thought we were getting from Dortmund. And yes, I understand he's a young player, that you could say the same thing about Mason Mount, but really, injury prone all the time. It seems like whenever he gets fully fit, he has a good game or two and then picks up another injury and is out for a couple months. So therefore, again, I think it's time for us to sell him. Him being an American, I think a lot of clubs will want to go for him because, again, you have that whole American following fan base, but still overall, I don't see him being at Chelsea next season. And I believe there's been talks already that he may go back to the Bundesliga. Again, that's going to be up in the air. And if he does, hats off to him. Hopefully he does well. But overall, I think his time at Chelsea is going to work out well. Now, João Felix, I'm just going to put in contract exit right now. He was on a loan deal, but overall, I hope he does not come back. Yes, he did score a goal in our last game against Bournemouth, but still, I haven't really seen anything that he offers quite as well. And again, we do have some players coming into this club next season that can play the exact same role as João Felix. So again, doesn't really make sense, and hopefully do not buy him. But again, that's going to be an option for Todd Boehly and the board itself. Now, Mudryk, again, this guy, very, very quick out in the wing, can definitely, skin a defender easily if he's got the momentum going. He needs a lot of confidence yet. That's his only problem right now. But if he can get that confidence under Pochettino, this guy can be elite and, again, help us start scoring goals and creating a lot of chances because, like I said, he is very quick and can outrun a lot of defenders and shift his body weight fairly quickly and get by guys before they even realize how fast he is and how quickly he's moved past them. So he's going to be a good signing, or he is a good signing for us. Now, Raheem Sterling, we're going to keep him as well, which, yes, I understand, not a good season for him as well, but we need some players that have some experience of winning the Premier League, have some leadership, and I think Raheem Sterling is going to be one of those players that's really still going to help a lot of these younger players. Because if we look across this board right now, this is a fairly young squad. So with Thiago Silva not going to be there, again, Raheem Sterling makes sense, and again, we can rotate some of these wingers for our squad. Now, we have Broja. As of right now, I see Broja being a solid striker for us. I know there's talks about us bringing in some type of striker, Harry Kane possibly, but I think Broja, coming back from the ACL injury, could definitely be our starting striker next season. Now, yes, I understand, same thing. Again, fairly young player like the rest of our squad here, but what we've been heard and told from other players, like Raheem Sterling said, he's just different. Again, this guy offers so much. He's very quick, can get up in the air, head balls. So again, I think he can be the guy that we've needed for a very long time and start scoring goals for us. Now, Ziyech, we're selling this guy. We tried getting rid of him during the January loan spell. The issues happened with PSG and it did not work out. So yes, like I said, he's out. Again, service-wise, great crossing the ball, but overall at Chelsea, his time is done. Now, Fofana, yes, we're going to keep him as well, even though I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of playing time, especially with Broja, and we're going to talk about a few of our other forwards here later. So I could definitely see him being loaned out. Actually, I'm going to put him in the loaned out because, again, I think he's 20 years old. So better off if we loan him out and actually get some time because if not, like I said, he's not going to get any playing time. And this is a guy that could definitely utilize that playing time. Kai Havertz, man. This is a back and forth because I love Kai Havertz. He's one of my favorite players right now at Chelsea, and things have not worked out for him. But still, I think he stays for one more season, especially with Pochettino. And this is what I was saying. Him and João Felix can pretty much play the same role. I think João Felix is has a little more flair, but again, I think Kai Havertz offers more physicality, works harder, and again, I think Kai Havertz can be a great player under Pochettino, and hopefully we do not play him as number 9. If we do, then again, terrible decisions, but overall, I think he can still do quite well. And then Noni Madueke, yes, keeping him. We've seen how well he can dribble, future winger for us, and again, I think he's going to be a star next season already. again, I think a lot of people do not realize how talented this player is. It was a great sign when you brought him in. Hasn't got much playing time, but when he does get the playing time, you're seeing how elite he is. And again, he's going to help us start scoring more and more goals. Now, Ampadu, he's on loan right now, and I want to say we're going to loan him out again. Maybe we sell him as well, but still, this is a guy that he's getting older, and again, I don't think we'll ever really see him as a Chelsea player. I think we just loan him back out, but again, possibly sell him. He's one of those guys that could be our CDM, but I think overall he's not elite enough to be in that starting 11 to play alongside Enzo Fernandez, which is a shame because if he was, that would be a great pairing, but again, I don't see it happening. Sarr, I'm going to say we're also going to loan him back out again. Been loaned out last year, did okay, but had a lot of errors. So again, maybe if he gets a little more playing time, can play a little bit better. Now, Gusto, bringing him in. So this is going to be our third left back. So Cucurella and Chilwell. So all three of these guys are going to have some rotation, and they're also all going to play for each other. And Cucurella can obviously play as a left CB. So again, this does offer some options. So again, rotating all three of these players along with their other CBs, but still new signing coming in. I think he's going to do quite well at this club. Now, Humphreys, he has been loaned out, and so again, I think he's going to get loaned out again. Again, younger player, so not really expecting too much. Bakayoko, this is a guy who I completely forgot was at Chelsea, and somehow he's still a Chelsea player, but he needs to be sold. Maybe we loan him again, but really, this guy, same thing with Ampadu. If he could play so much better, he could be a great midfielder for us. But the thing is, he just cannot play in the Premier League, and therefore, again, we need to sell him and get him off our wages. Casado, same thing. I think we're going to loan him out. The young Italian player, I think, again, he gets need one more season under his belt before he actually gets put into the top Chelsea squad. If not, though, I could see him actually being kept this season. But otherwise, I think a loan makes the most sense as of right now. I think he needs some more playing time as well, like these other players we're seeing here. Now, Ian Maddison, I think he's going to get loaned out to Burnley another season because with how well he did at Burnley, obviously they won the championship and they've done quite well, and Vincent Kompany has gotten a lot out of this player. I think he deserves another loan, and if he goes and stays at Burnley for another season, he will get time in the Premier League, and then we can fully assess him after that, because like I said, right now having three left backs, we do not need a fourth, because again, that's way too many unless we bring him in and then we get rid of Cucurella, but I highly doubt that's going to happen this summer. If Cucurella does get sold, then I think Ian Maddison does stick around at Chelsea, but right now I'm going to say he's going to go back to Burnley as of right now. Now, Lewis Hall, this is an interesting one. He's going to be more of the depth. He's going to be in the youth squad, I believe, still. And I think he's going to be more depth. We're not going to loan him out because I think we're going to need him just in case if things go real south on our defenders. Again, with all the injuries that we've been picking up, it's good to possibly have another guy that we can just rotate. Again, he can pretty much play anywhere on the pitch. So not that I think I'm confident in playing really anywhere right now, but still, he's good to have. Now, Romelu Lukaku, this is where I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate, but we are going to keep him next season. We're not going to loan him out, and we're not going to be able to sell him because no one's going to pay his wages. He's not going to leave Chelsea. He's getting paid a ridiculous amount. I think he comes back from Inter Milan with Pochettino and actually plays phenomenal. This is where we're going to get the pairing with Broja and Lukaku, where they're going to play off each other. So whether we do two up front or if we do the normal transition that Pochettino does, like the 4-2-3-1, Lukaku is going to be our main striker then. The guy's big, strong, can win aerials, and it's a guy that's been missing in the presence of the box. Again, nothing from Kai Havertz, but the guy is not very physical in the box, and Lukaku offers that. So we have a few other players we're going to talk about because, like I said, the rest of these guys are going to be youth players that we're just going to be loaning out anyway. So again, I'll need to go in depth with that. The last one we have is Hudson-Odoi. Now, it has not been kind for him in the Bundesliga. This was his opportunity to do quite well, and I can't remember how many more years he has left on his contract. If he has two, he might only have a year left, so maybe we do sell him. I'm actually going to put him in sell because his loan spell in the Bundesliga has not been well. I was going to say loan, but I don't think he has much of a contract left. So let's put him in the sell. So we have quite a few players as of right now. And the fact that he came from the youth academy, again, that helps us. Same with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, that, again, we're going to get quite a bit of money for these guys, but also it's a net positive. Now we have to worry about how much we spent to bring them in, that we did for Aubameyang. We're going to lose money on him. But again, I think we're going to have to sell him as well. And then our last one is Colwell. Now, Colwell is a very interesting character here because I do not want to sell him, but I don't think we can loan him out again, and I think he's going to push for a sell because this is the tricky part. Because, like I said, with our defense, you know what? I'm gonna put him in a keep. We're gonna keep. We're gonna make this work in our defense because, like I said, right now we have our defenders here, and I think he can rotate in with our other defenders, which makes it a good rotation with these guys. So Shield, Fofana, Chalaba, even Reece James can play there, Cucurella, and I would say Colwell. All these guys are going to be phenomenal. But like I said, Thiago Silva would have been nice to keep here. And then Koulibaly, I think I forgot to mention as well. So we have quite a few defenders for the CB position. But overall, I think this is a good starting point. And Cuckoo, for some reason, is not on this list, but he's also obviously going to be in the keep. He's going to be one of our new signings coming in. Also, probably going to play as that number 10 role. But this is actually looking like a pretty good squad. Now, obviously, there's 3 key factors we're missing. So the goalkeeper, like I said, we need to bring someone in. If we don't, then we're keeping Kepa. We need a CDM. We've talked about that in my other videos. So if you haven't watched that, go and watch that. Declan Rice is obviously number 1 pick, but again, he's not going to go for 100 million. If they think they're going to get that West Ham, it's not going to happen. And then possibly another striker, because if Lukaku does not want to come back to Chelsea or things do not work out with the board and everything, we can still loan him back out to another club. Maybe sell him, but that's probably not going to happen. And we still have Broya, technically Kai Havertz, that again, do not want to play as a number 9, but that might be a possibility. But if we bring in that guy as well, another striker, this team has potential of competing for any trophies next season, especially in the Premier League. I think overall this is a fairly young squad. So again, I'm not expecting us to light up the world next season in the Premier League, but still, as future seasons come along with all these players, we are going to see a massive shift in how well these players start gelling together and start performing. And we're building a process here. I know that was the plan for Graham Potter, but still, with these guys, with a few extra signings, and again, selling some of these players and loaning these guys out, this team has potential of winning something next season, which again is quite remarkable with how well or how terrible this season's been. Again, it's hard to imagine that we actually win something next season with how bad it's been. But again, with these young guys, I think we get the right manager coming in with Pochettino. I think he'll get these players firing in the right direction, start winning games, get that mentality of that we are the team that teams are going to have a hard time beating. And if we start winning those games, get that momentum, start just that win streak, again, we're going to be a difficult team to face, and teams are not going to want to play us because we are going to beat them with endurance, with pace, with dribbling, scoring. So again, this is going to be a fun season next year. So that is all I have for you today in this video. I want to know what you guys think on who we're keeping, who we're selling, who we're loaning out, which players you want to see us keep. Again, this is my take, and this is all depending on Pochettino, because if Pochettino is not our manager, some of these players may stick around. I can see Kovacic sliding back into this if we have a different manager that's not Pochettino. And I could see even Loftus-Cheek, maybe even Christian Pulisic. But again, this is what I'm looking at right now with Pochettino as our manager. So that is all I have for you today. And if you have not, and if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate that. And I will see you in our next video.